You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Black and White Sports fans, we're going to continue to talk about Brian Flores. You guys already know about his lawsuit. He is suing 3 NFL teams and the NFL alleging racism. And Brian Flores, I do believe he is destroying his coaching career. I believe he's burning a lot of bridges, folks. He's essentially now the Colin Kaepernick of coaches. Colin Kaepernick alleged that the NFL is being racist against him, even though they have bent over left and right, trying to give him an opportunity to come back into the NFL, and he just doesn't want to play. Different story, I digress. But Brian Flores now, it's just, I don't see how any team is actually going to want to hire him. And you already know what the narrative is going to be at the end of the day if he never gets a head coaching job again. The woke sports media is going to say they're blackballing him because he sued the league, he sued other teams alleging racism. And I don't believe that his lawsuit carries any weight. But however, when it comes to Bill Belichick, Brian Flores now has just thrown Bill Belichick under the bus. Now, we know that Bill Belichick sent out text messages to Brian Flores, and Brian Flores has really kind of come out and said that Bill Belichick is a part of the problem, a part of the racial problem in the NFL. Boy, I mean, Brian Flores, really, man? Really? You see here, as Brian Flores speaks, the deeper he draws Bill Belichick into his class action lawsuit against the NFL. Now, remember, folks, he is claiming racism when it comes to the hiring practices here, okay? Now, the Giants actually end up hiring Brian Daboll to be the new head coach. And Brian Flores has said that he went to a sham interview because they had already made up their mind to hire Brian Daboll. And by the way, folks, the Giants say that Bill Belichick has no affiliation with the team, and the text exchange provides no insight. And the reason why they said it is because they say this: the allegation that the Giants' decision had been made prior to Friday evening, January 28th, is false. And to base that allegation on a text message with Bill Belichick, in which he ultimately states that he thinks Brian Daboll will get the job, is irresponsible. The text exchange occurred the day before Coach Daboll's in-person interview even took place. Giants ownership would never hire a head coach based only on a 20-minute Zoom interview, which is all that Mr. Daboll had at that point. In addition, Mr. Belichick does not speak for and has no affiliation with the Giants. Mr. Belichick's text exchange provides no insight into what actually transpired during our head coaching search. So at that point, Brian Daboll had only had a Zoom interview, and that was pretty much it. But check out what Brian Flores actually had to say about Bill Belichick's influence on Daboll getting hired. Now, he essentially, based off of what he said to me, I took it as Bill Belichick had all the influence on Brian Daboll getting hired. Now, both Brian Flores and Brian Daboll both worked under Bill Belichick. Keep that in mind. But he said this. This is what Brian Flores said. Quote, "I think there are back channel conversations and back channel meetings that are had that oftentimes influence decisions. I think the Giants hiring process is a clear example of that. Bill Belichick is a clear example of that. His resume speaks to that. It was clear to me that that decision was made with his influence. That's part of the problem. That needs to change. There needs to be a fair and equal opportunity to interview and showcase your abilities to learn and earn one of those positions." That's a massive statement from Flores. He has gone on from saying Bill Belichick accidentally tipped me off to a sham interview to Bill Belichick played a part in the system that has created sham interviews. They're right on this. I mean, that's just crazy that Brian Flores would try to paint the image that Bill Belichick really is the reason why Brian DeBall got this job. Is he trying to say that Bill Belichick just wanted the Giants to hire Brian DeBall because he's a white guy? Now, of course, Brian Flores didn't directly come out and say that, but this man is alleging racism in NFL hiring practices, especially when it comes to the Giants. Now, Brian DeBall, white. Bill Belichick is white. The Giants ownership group, white. And to me, man, Brian Flores is providing no evidence whatsoever that racism is occurring. I mean, is he kind of sour that he didn't get this the job with the Giants and another guy did, and the guy that got it was just white? Maybe he is, but I don't see any racism in this. And for him to throw Bill Belichick under the bus like this, I mean, really, all Bill Belichick did was send text messages that he thinks that Brian DeBall could be the guy, because he thought that he was actually texting Brian DeBall. I don't think we've actually heard from Belichick on this, but that is what Brian Flores is actually alleging here. I mean, Brian Flores, man, I believe it's over for him. The Texans should not even for 1 second even consider this guy. I mean, this man, if you fire him, you know what's going to happen to Texans if you do hire this man. He will allege racism because that card has been played. And I don't think he can actually backtrack from that now. That race card has been played. He is suing 3 teams for racism. Any team that hires this man, not just the Texans. If you fire him, you already know the story. The woke sports media, I don't care if the team goes 0-17. If you hire this man, then you fire him for a poor job performance, you're going to be called racist. You're just going to have to accept that. I mean, you're already seeing this with Colin Kaepernick. It's going to be the same thing with Brian Flores, man. Now, he's really throwing Bill Belichick under the bus for influencing the hiring of Brian DeBall. Now, he doesn't have any proof of that at all. Now, guys, I will say this. When I worked a regular job in the industry I worked in, everybody kind of knew other people. And if I saw like my boss was hiring somebody, I was like, yeah, I know that guy. No, my boss would actually ask me, well, what do you think of him? So it wouldn't be a surprise to me if the Giants just kind of reached out to Belichick and said, hey, what do you think of Brian DeBall? What do you think of Brian Flores? It would not be a surprise considering they both worked under the man. And I'm pretty sure that Bill Belichick knows both of these guys way better than the Giants management. I'm pretty sure that they do. I'm pretty sure you guys also, if you worked corporate jobs, I'm pretty sure if you knew somebody going up for an interview and your boss knew that, they probably would ask you a little bit about the person. Let's just be real. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to Black and White Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.